Welcome to our Explainer, where today we are digging into some really fascinating research. We're talking about something you can find in pretty much any kitchen, mushrooms, and their potential role in cancer care. So let's get right into it.
You see them all the time, right? Sliced up on a pizza, tossed in a salad, maybe sautéed with a little garlic. But what if there's way more to them than we think?
That's the big question researchers are really digging into. Could the humble mushroom actually be a serious ally in one of modern medicine's toughest fights? Let's take a look at what the science has to say.
Okay, so to really get what's going on here, we have to start with the active ingredient, you could say. It really all boils down to a specific compound that's found inside these mushrooms. So at the very heart of all this are beta-glucans. These are totally natural molecules, and they have this incredible ability to talk to our immune cells. They basically wake them up and get them ready for action. You can almost think of them as a personal trainer for your body's defense team.
That's the theory anyway, but, does it actually hold up in the real world? Let's shift gears and look at the clinical evidence to see how this idea goes from a concept in a lab to actual results in patients.
And listen, we're not talking about some rare, exotic mushroom you can't find anywhere. We're talking about the plain old white button mushroom. In one clinical trial, patients who had relapsed prostate cancer were given a powdered extract from this exact mushroom.
And the results, they were pretty striking. More than a third of the patients actually saw their PSA levels, which is a key marker for prostate cancer activity, go down. That's a huge sign that something positive was happening.
But it gets even better. For some of the men in this study, this wasn't just some temporary little dip in their numbers. No, this translated into a long, sustained period where their cancer just didn't progress.
The impact was just, wow. We're talking about some patients having their disease held in check for 3, 4, even 5 years. That is a seriously meaningful outcome, and it all came from a simple mushroom extract.
And this isn't just a one-off thing for prostate cancer either. When you start looking across different studies, you see a pattern forming. Just look at lentinin here. It's an extract from shiitake mushrooms. It shows a benefit for both liver and gastric cancers when it's used alongside chemotherapy. This really suggests the effect isn't isolated. The evidence is building on multiple fronts.
So we can see that it can work, but how does it work? What's actually happening behind the scenes to get these results? Well, the answer is all about how mushrooms interact with our immune system.
Right, so to understand the hero of the story, you gotta meet the villain first. Cancers are sneaky. They can hijack parts of our own immune system, specifically these things called MDSC cells, and use them to create a kind of invisibility cloak that helps the tumor hide and grow without being attacked.
And this is where the mushrooms come in. First, those beta-glucans help shut down those rogue MDSC cells. That takes the brakes off our real defender cells, the T cells and natural killer cells, which lets them finally recognize and go after the cancer again. So in short, the mushrooms aren't killing the cancer directly, they're helping your own body get back to doing the job it was meant to do. And that might make other treatments, like immunotherapy, work even better.
Okay, this is all really fascinating stuff. But it leads to a very practical question, right? What does this actually mean for our everyday lives and the choices we make? Let's try to connect these high-dose clinical studies to the food on our plates.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can we get these same kinds of benefits just by, throwing some more mushrooms into our stir-fry?
Well, the short answer is no, not really. The clinical trials are using super high concentrated doses to get a specific therapeutic effect. Eating mushrooms from the grocery store gives you a much, much lower dose. But, and this is a big but, that doesn't mean they're not valuable. They just play a different, but still super important role.
See, eating whole mushrooms on the regular does some fantastic things. It gives your body a nice steady supply of those helpful beta-glucans. It also acts as a prebiotic, which means it feeds the good bacteria in your gut, and a healthy gut is really the foundation of a healthy immune system. Plus, research shows it can boost something called intestinal IgA. Think of it like a security guard for the lining of your gut.
Okay, so we've seen some promising clinical data, and we've seen some clear dietary benefits. Before we get to the most important next step, let's just pull this all together. All right, let's just quickly recap the big takeaways. 1. Certain mushroom extracts show real promise in clinical trials. 2. They work by waking up our own immune system. 3. While eating mushrooms isn't a high-dose therapy, it's fantastic for foundational gut and immune health. And 4, and this is so critical, this is not a cure. It's a potential complementary strategy that can support the body.
This quote really gets to the heart of why this info is so important.
The whole point is to empower you with the data, the vocabulary, to have a smarter, more productive conversation with your medical team about all the tools in the toolbox.
And of course, it's absolutely crucial we say this. Nothing we've talked about here is medical advice. These kinds of decisions have to be made with your oncologist and your healthcare team, always.
So we'll leave you with this question to think about. Based on everything you just heard, what's one new idea, whether it's about dietary mushrooms or concentrated extracts, that you feel ready to bring up with your medical team? Thanks for watching.